Thank you for tuning in to GVCS Radio's broadcast of The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, published by Dramatic Publishing. And now, sit back, grab your popcorn, and enjoy the show.
Dinosaur. The very word evokes a nightmare. A nightmare both repulsive and mesmerizing. What is the enduring appeal of these great beasts who lived centuries ago? Is it the ferocity of their life or the mystery of their death? Come with us now as we make our way down treacherous rapids and across steaming jungles in search of the lost world.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Scientific mission approaching deadly rapids! Extra! Extra! Hold on!
With the current!
Watch out for the motor!
There's a whirlpool! Look out! We hit something!
They're shooting at us!
Jolly good ride! We're going to capsize!
We can't make it! We can't make it! Watch out! Mr. McConnell, it's the telegraph room. Malone's latest story has him in mortal danger. They're caught in the rapids, and Madame Beaumont wants a word with you.
You let Madame Beaumont climb those stairs?
I couldn't stop her, Mr. McConnell. She was moving so fast.
So there you are, Angus. Explain to me these expenses.
We have Malone's next story, Madame Beaumont.
More silly bird watching reports?
Not at all, Madame Beaumont. Rapids and cannibals with drums and poison arrows and piranha fish.
Monsters, man. You promised me monsters as big as our headlines.
Big rapids, big drums, and big cannibals with big poison arrows.
And big expenses. How did you bewitch me into paying for this expedition?
Well, if you recall, Madame Beaumont, it all began when young Ned Malone decided he was tired of chasing fire engines. Come in.
Mr. McConnell, do you have a minute?
What's on your mind, Malone?
I'd like to report on something more exciting than charity events, Mr. McConnell. Perhaps a mission like Stanley and Livingston. Something with adventure and danger. The more the better.
You seem very anxious to risk your life.
To justify my life, sir.
Let me hazard a guess. It's about a girl, isn't it? What's her name?
Gladys. Gladys Hungerton.
Gladys, eh? Well, laddie, I don't know if I have any new worlds for you to discover, but I do have something of a mission. Have you heard of Georgia May Challenger?
Professor Challenger? The famous zoologist?
Right. 2 years ago, Challenger went on an expedition to South America. She came back with stories, big stories, about a land lost in time, untouched for thousands of years. She actually claims to have seen dinosaurs.
Great Scott! Dinosaurs?
That's right, laddie. Dinosaurs. In a lost world. Don't you love the sound of it? There's a meeting tonight at the Zoological Society. Challenger is going to be there. I want to go and sniff around. If you find something, I'll back you up.
Thanks for the tip, Mr. McConnell.
Think nothing of it. And Malone, be careful. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce our featured speaker, Dr. Emil Illingsworth.
Thank you, Dr. Meldrum. Esteemed society members, ladies and gentlemen, as we climb the evolutionary ladder, what captivates us most are the saurians, the dinosaurians, that frightful breed of reptile that appears to us in the fossil record, but which has been extinct before the coming of man.
Hogwash!
To be sure, extinct millions of years before the coming of man.
Moron!
Professor Challenger, please contain yourself.
Evolution is not a spent force. It is at work here, even today.
Not within these walls!
This is a distinguished assembly.
Would you accept, sir, a reasonable opinion?
I should like to hear you utter a reasonable opinion, madam.
Very well. The reasonable opinion is, you are an idiot.
I must ask you to leave the hall so that the good doctor may continue his speech. And if that is not acceptable...
Just because Dr. Illingsworth has never seen prehistoric animals, does that mean they don't exist? No, in fact, they do exist, and I have seen them. Am I a liar?
Yes, liar!
Decorum, please. Order. Order.
Question, Professor.
Aha, there is a woman who seeks a cure for an ignorance.
Your findings in the Amazon run completely counter to established explorers. How do you account for this?
Very simple. What the others missed, I discovered.
Will you divulge the exact location of your so-called discovery?
I shall not. That information is proprietary.
And unpublishable, which makes it unscientific.
You raise the same stale argument as my chief critic, Professor Summerlee.
That is because I am Professor Summerlee.
Great Scott! You're a woman!
I invite Professor Challenger to prove her contention with a proper investigation. That is, if I participate.
I accept that challenge and dare a zoological society to finance such an expedition.
Well,
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Edward Dunn Malone of the Daily Gazette. I shall ask my editor, Mr. McCardle, to underwrite this expedition.
Bravo!
But that is if I too may participate.
Wonderful. Are there any other volunteers?
Right here, Professor Challenger.
And your name, ma'am?
Lady Jane Roxton. I have been up the Amazon and I have special qualifications for this expedition.
Lady Jane Roxton's reputation as a sportswoman and explorer is world famous. She would make a welcome addition.
So be it. Ladies and gentlemen, please recognize Lady Jane Roxton, Professor Summerlee, Edward Dunn Malone, and myself as the official expedition that will bring back unassailable proof of my lost world.
Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
Just a moment, please. Only an objective expedition can confirm such findings, Challenger. Therefore, I move that you not accompany the others.
You would bar me from my own expedition? This is an outrage, an insult.
it is moved the Professor Challenger withdraw from the expedition. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
How dare you? How dare you?
All those opposed, nay.
Nay!
Well, I suspect the ayes have it. The motion is carried. This meeting is adjourned.
Quite a turnabout, eh, Malone?
It certainly is.
Since we're to travel together, I think we need to understand one another.
Well, of course.
It'll be just the two of us on this thing. Can you imagine Miss Summerlee in a close call?
Well, actually, I can.
What's your weapon of choice?
Words.
May I suggest Lance 577 Axite Express with telescopic sight?
Is that really necessary? This is a scientific quest, not a big game hunt.
Unless the professor is a madman or a liar, we're going to see some pretty strange things before we get back. South America is a land I love. Grandest, most wonderful place on the planet. And the more you know of that jungle land, the more you understand that anything is possible. So be off with you, start packing, pack everything you'll think you need, and then unpack it and pack it up again, just to be sure. Because once we sail, there'll be no turning back.
All ashore, the sky ashore!
Malone, where is that lad?
Mr. McCardle, there you are. I've been looking for you. How can I ever thank you for giving me this opportunity?
That should be obvious, laddie, by sending back stories that'll sell newspapers. Lots of them.
Oh, I intend to do that, sir.
Good. Remember, I want exotic places, wild beasts, high adventure, but most of all, bring me the lost world.
All ashore, let's go ashore! All ashore, let's go ashore!
Let me have your attention, everyone. Gather round. I've only a few words to say. First, I wish I were going with you. Secondly, here in this sealed envelope is the map to the Lost World. This envelope is not to be opened until you have arrived at Manus. Understood?
Yes,
Understood.
of course.
Ned? Ned?
Oh, Gladys, there you are. I've been waiting for you all morning.
Last call! All ashore, let's go ashore!
Quickly, Gladys, we don't have much time. I've been thinking.
Oh, Ned, why do I get the feeling you're about to propose?
Well.
I wish you wouldn't. Things are so much nicer as they are.
Oh, really?
An engagement would only spoil it.
Well, I should think you'd want to count the days till I return. Keep the candle burning?
Oh, now you ruined everything. Why can't you control yourself?
I've been controlling myself quite well these past 6 months for a man who's in love.
In love? I'm not. Not in the least.
Well, Gladys, you are really something, aren't you?
Thank you, Ned. You see, the man I will marry must be an adventurer. Look at that young Frenchman who went up in a balloon. There was a gale blowing, but because he said he'd go, he went. The wind blew him 1,500 miles into the middle of Siberia. That's the kind of man I want.
Did he ever come back, Gladys?
No, of course he didn't. But that's not the point, Ned.
Final morning!
Yes, well, I'm sure this conversation has given me all the strength I'll need in the coming months.
Last call!
Goodbye, Ned.
Goodbye, Gladys. Dateline, the Amazon. Dear Mr. McCarthy, our Atlantic crossing was uneventful. We arrived and put ashore
At the mouth of the Amazon. After a night's rest, we boarded the Esmeralda, which took us upriver to Manaus. The golden sun glistened on the dark, shimmering waters. I could see native women bathing themselves, the rays of sun sparkling on their glistening hair and on their... Oh, I think we can skip that part. Let's see now. Let's see. Here we go. Roxton has engaged a local guide named Gomez who speaks excellent English. Tomorrow at noon, we shall open the sealed envelope on which the success of our expedition rests.
Surely it's time to see the map now, Lady Jane.
Time it is. Now let's have a look. Why, it's blank.
What? Let me see the envelope.
What more proof do you want? Professor Challenger is a complete fake.
Well, now what are we supposed to do?
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm telegraphing the Zoological Society this moment.
Don't bother.
Great Scott!
Challenger!
Yes. Sorry to disappoint you, Summerlee.
What are you doing here?
I came to see how well you were managing in my absence.
Well, it's obvious we can't go any further without instructions.
My point exactly.
But this is against your promise.
A promise coerced from me by academic imbeciles.
Professor, what we need now is our destination. Do you have the map?
Indeed, Roxton, and it's safely stored in my head. And now that's clear, it should be equally obvious I've come to take charge of this expedition. We gather on the riverbank at dawn. Get a good night's sleep. Till tomorrow.
This is Malone's last transmission from Manaus. Dateline, the Amazon. We have loaded the provisions in our canoe. All is ready. We leave within the hour. The adventure begins.
Very impressive paddling, Professor Summerlee. I wouldn't have taken an academic such as yourself as an athlete.
Are you surprised I can paddle a canoe?
You've been doing it for some time now and don't seem winded.
There are many things an academic can do without getting winded, Lady Jane. Paddling a canoe is just one of them.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
What's that sound?
We are not alone, senor! Drums!
Roxton, what do you make of this?
I've heard them before, many times. They're war drums.
War drums?
Yes, indeed! They took the drum talk to each
Give me my rifle. I'll have a go at him.
Good work, Roxton.
I can't even feel it. I'm shooting at
We're
them.
going away.
That should discourage them for the time being.
Listen, what's that I hear?
It's a rabbit, Senorita. They're just ahead.
All right, everyone. There's no stopping now.
Hold on!
Have a good day.
Watch out for the boulder.
Whirlpool! Look out ahead!
Reed, what time?
We hit something.
Just a glancing blow.
Jolly good
We're
ride!
going to capsize. We're going to capsize.
Watch out!
We're not going to make it.
We lost more than half our supplies in the rapids, but decided to continue on foot. For 10 days we cut our way through the steaming jungle, and just when we thought we could go no further, there it was, Challenger's lost world. It greets us in the distance, with dwindling twilight, daring us to approach. The plateau rises defiantly, like the devil of Duratan, 1,000 feet into the clouds. Even from a distance of 10 miles, it looks immense, an island in the sky, lost in time. There's a strange rock pinnacle next to the plateau that may be our stairway to the lost world. We rise at dawn. All right, laddie, all right. You've done it. I knew you would.
Extra! Extra! Expedition finds lost world. Daring explorers find thousands of feet into the sky. Extra! Extra!
Read all about it.
The rock face is immense. How in the world do we get up?
I think the only way up is to climb the pinnacle.
I agree.
Then let's get the ropes out.
Mr. Malone, look.
What is it?
Right in front of you, at your feet. I think it's a human skull.
Great Scott, you're right. The bamboo is growing right through it.
The rest of the skeleton is over there. The flesh has been stripped from the bone.
Poor devil. Dreadful way to die. Every inch of his body must have been perforated by the bamboo. There can't be much doubt about how he met his death.
He fell?
All was pushed.
Hurry, hurry! Spirit of the jungle.
Oh, nonsense. The only spirit in this jungle is the spirit of adventure. Now, let's get ourselves some supper. I'm famished.
We are presently encamped for the night at the base of the plateau. Lady Roxton has shot a pig, and Gomez is cooking it over an open fire.
Professor Sommerly, may I speak with you for a moment?
Yes, Mr. Malone.
Call me Ned, please.
Why do you insist on my calling you Ned?
So that I might call you Elizabeth.
Oh, well, very well. Ned?
Elizabeth, have you been noticing the sunsets? They're really quite beautiful. Nothing at all like in England. Great Scott! Look in the sky! What on earth is that?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're being paid a visit.
Quick, hand me my rifle.
Look at the size of it!
Watch your heads. It's coming down. Out of the way!
It's got the pig! It's got the pig!
Stand away from it.
It's incredible! Look at those eyes!
Shine the torch! The torch!
Oh, it's too late. Gone.
He took the pig!
Did you see what it was, Summerlee?
I've never seen anything like it.
Nor has any living man or woman.
What is it? What is it?
Go on. Tell him, Summerlee.
Say it. It's a living pterodactyl.
Yes.
Extra! Extra! Challenge your expedition to cover pterodactyl. A big flying dinosaur. Extra! Extra!
Fantastic. Can't print the papers fast enough. A flying dinosaur, and who knows what's to come. Let me see here. What's he got to say next? Ah, here we go. After much deliberation, we have decided to climb the pinnacle. There's a tree at the top. We calculate if we cut it down, it might provide a bridge for crossing to the plateau. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Almost finished!
All right, everybody, stand back. Stand back.
Timber!
Well done, Gomez. Well done.
Yes, it's a perfect bridge.
Now be careful, everyone. It's a 1,000-foot drop.
Roxton crossed with ease and assurance. Then Challenger and Summerlee and myself. We had all crossed the plateau except Gomez, when suddenly...
What's happening?
The bridge has fallen.
and there you will remain.
What's all this about, Roxton?
I have the foggiest idea. I have no idea.
I have waited and waited, Lady Roxton, and now I have my chance. You find it hard to get up, you will find it harder to get down. Think of Lopez!
Who's Lopez?
You shot him 5 years ago on the Putumayo River. I am his brother, and now I've avenged him.
Your brother was a thief and caused the death of 2 other guys.
I live to see you die!
He's climbing down and he's taking the rope with him.
Hand me my rifle.
Roxton, you can't.
By Jove! You've killed him!
Yes, and in any case you didn't realize it, he's considerably lessened our chances of getting off this plateau alive.
All right, everyone. Move away from the edge. It's dangerous. We'll sort this out later. We have a lost world to explore.
Our first steps into the lost world are like stepping back into time. Everything we see is new to our eyes. Ferns beside the trees, flowers so large you could curl up in their petals. When we had walked at least a mile inland,
Ned, don't move! Whatever you do, don't move.
What is it?
I'm studying something.
On the back of my neck?
It's an enormous blood tick, at least 3 inches long.
Don't study it! Get it off of me!
You crushed it!
Bloody right!
I didn't even get to classify it.
Classify it dead!
Calm down, Malone. It's in its way, a blood tick is as beautiful a work as the nature of a peacock.
Glad you feel that way, Challenger. One just crawled up your pants leg.
What? Get it out! Get it out! Ah! Oh.
Challenger, you needn't roll about.
Don't move, Challenger, don't move. Be still.
Why? What is it?
You've fallen into what looks like a footprint. And it must be at least 4 feet across.
Yes. Yes, you're right. And unless my scholarship fails me, it is the recently made footprint of a Stegosaurus. Very recent.
And very close.
What do we do now, Professor?
We observe. That's why we've come. Ah, yes, there it is in its clearing. Our Stegosaurus. Magnificent.
Professor?
Don't worry, Malone. It's an herbivore.
It's such a big growl for such a little head.
That's because it's the growl of a Tyrannosaurus Rex emerging from the other side of the clearing.
Right. And it's not an herbivore.
Look, they're fighting! Professor, don't you think that perhaps...
I think they've seen us. I suggest we run. Run!
we run and run. And we didn't stop running until we stumbled upon a large festering bog of blue-gray mud. Enormous trees encircled the swamp, create a landscape of eons gone by. What we saw next was truly amazing.
Look! Pterodactyls all around!
There must be at least 200.
Yes, look at the young squabbling over morsels of flesh. Who would have thought they've nested like birds?
This is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
I want to capture a young one and take it back with us. I want the world to see. Illingsworth wanted proof. We'll give it to him.
Good idea, Challenger. But we must leave camp as soon as possible. Night's falling. We'll come back later, I promise.
She's right, Challenger.
Very well. Let's continue.
We made camp in a small clearing. The night was brisk. Sometime after midnight, I decided to do some cautious exploration. I walked in an easterly direction until I came upon a herd of dinosaurs, sleeping. They reminded me of gentle cows. When I turned to retrace my steps, the ground unexpectedly gave way and I fell headlong into a pit.
Ah!
In the moonlight, I could see I was lying on the carcass of a dead animal. As I climbed out, it dawned on me that this pit had been deliberately dug. The spikes had been intentionally sharpened. It was a trap, an actual trap. I then realized we were not the only humans in the lost world. After my discovery of the trap, with its sharpened spikes and rotting carcass, I made my way back to camp as quickly as possible. I wanted to be the first to announce that we were not alone. However, when I arrived at the encampment, I discovered to my horror that my colleagues were gone.
Hello? Hello? Elizabeth? Professor Challenger? Roxton? Where is everybody? Great Scott, what am I to do? The camp has been completely ransacked. Hello? Hello?
For goodness sake, not so loud.
Roxton, look at you.
Collect the rifles and let's get a move on.
Why? What happened?
Just before dawn, we were attacked by 8 men.
8 men? I knew it. I knew we weren't alone.
Out of the trees they dropped. Doesn't know. Tied us up they did. Fancy that, knowing how to tie knots. Then they dragged us through the forest to a village west of here. Luckily, I got away.
Were you followed?
Hard to say. But listen, Malone, that's just the half of it. The Lost World is inhabited, not only by ape men, but also by Indians. And there's a tribal war going on between them.
Great Scott!
When I left, the ape men were amusing themselves by pulling the arms off some captured Indians.
Elizabeth?
She's alive. For now.
We've got to help them. But what can we do? Just the 2 of us.
Take heart, Malone. They may be masters of the trees, but in the open with our guns, we have a fighting chance. Stick to the clearings and always have your rifle ready.
It was a sight I shall never forget. Imagine a large village of primitive huts. The entire ape-man population gathered in a semicircle on the edge of the plateau. Within the circle were Summerlee and Challenger, as well as a few Indians. The ape-men were working themselves into a frenzy when, almost casually, the ape king raised his hand. Apes then seized one of the Indians and flung the poor wretch over the precipice to be skewered on the bamboo far below.
Bloody savage!
We've got to start shooting now.
Let me have the first shot. Ready, aim!
Elizabeth and Challenger have gotten away. Elizabeth, away here, run!
I got you covered.
This way, Elizabeth.
You rescued us, Ned.
I guess I did. I was so worried about you. When Roxton said you'd been taken, I feared the worst.
And I was worried about you.
What a brave woman you are, Elizabeth.
Why, thank you, Ned. I was hoping you'd notice.
Hate to intrude, Malone. Challenger's being chased. Stand back, I need a clean shot.
Well, you two certainly came in the nick of time. Don't shoot him, Roxton. He's an Indian, a chief. He may be able to help us.
Akala, Manabota, then Gula, Goda, Manadoda, Akala.
He says we must leave the plateau before the ape men counterattack.
You understand his language?
It's a variation on several Amazon dialects.
Leave? But how?
Umba Brento, Telembado, Tabata, Rina, Kubara.
He says his people use a secret path to come and go from the flatlands below.
Umbado,
And though the trail is difficult at first, the second half is quite scenic, with a few spectacular overlooks.
So there's a passage down from this plateau.
Apparently,
Excellent.
Ungo, Poto, Salawanta, Fifi Poo.
oh, well, thank you.
What's he saying now?
Undapa, La Banda,
Nothing, really.
Unga Bango.
No, tell me.
Just something about the cut of my dress.
Why, that savage beast!
Simmer down, Malone. We have more important things to worry about. We need to get off this plateau before nightfall. Right. Now where's Roxton? Where's she gone off to now?
I don't know. I'll find her. Roxton! Roxton! Roxton, there you are. We've been looking all over.
Quiet.
What are you doing?
visiting my friends.
In the pterodactyl rookery?
I'm collecting a young hatchling for Challenger. One that hasn't grown teeth yet. Called a pet. Called a souvenir. Actually, don't call it anything till we get home.
2 hours later, we had made our way across the valley and began our arduous descent. After many a twist and turn, we arrived at the base of the plateau. Unfortunately, most of our artifacts, our scientific evidence, had to be abandoned. But we made it back to Manaus, back to England. Hello, Mr. Ricardo.
Welcome home, buddy. You've done a great job. Now, gather your group and come with me. We have a fleet of carriages waiting to take you to the Zoological Society. The world is waiting. This night, history will be written. And you, my boy, will have the byline. We've all been anxiously awaiting the return of the Zoological Society's expedition to the Lost World. If you would all take your seats, we shall hear Professor Challenger's account. Please, take your seats.
Ned! Oh, Ned, there you are.
Why, hello, Gladys. What brings you here?
You too, of course. I've been following your adventures in the newspaper. You're quite the hero, you know.
Yes. May I introduce...
And I tell all my friends, oh, that's just Ned Malone. We're engaged. It makes them green with envy.
That's wonderful, Gladys, really. But first, may I present Professor Elizabeth Summerlee Malone.
How do you do? How do you do, Professor Summerlee?
I believe you've missed the point, Gladys. This is Professor Summerlee Malone.
I beg your pardon?
Elizabeth and I were married on the way back to England.
But, Ned, weren't we?
Oh, I wish you wouldn't, Gladys. Things are so much nicer as they are.
But Ned,
Goodbye, Gladys.
I now present to you Professor Challenger.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible expedition it's been. What discoveries we've made. Why, only moments after entering the Lost World, we've encountered a Stegosaurus. Hear me out, Innsworth.
Yes.
Insects as big as your hand. Pterodactyls living as birds rather than lizards.
Proof, Challenger. We need proof.
Yes.
New burn leaves. Some soil samples. Yeah.
In order of the day.
What would you accept as proof? An ape-man, perhaps? A giant beetle?
Provide it.
What about a living dinosaur?
Get a grip, Challenger.
Summerlee, Roxton, Malone, aren't we prepared to educate the Philistines?
We absolutely are.
Good. Come up here. As the audience can plainly see, my fellow adventurers have brought on stage with them a large shrouded cage. Before I remove the shroud, I ask the audience for silence. Absolute silence. And now, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a living pterodactyl. We found this specimen in a rookery occupied by hundreds of pterodactyls. And since its capture, it has grown at an astonishing size.
Have them be quiet, Professor. The creature is straining at its tether.
I ask you again for silence. If the creature is frightened, it may attempt to escape. As I was saying, these pterodactyls are alive today in the Lost World.
Professor is trying to bite through the cage.
Please, quiet down. Quiet down.
Give me the shroud. Put the shroud over it.
It's bending the bars. The cage is breaking open.
It's escaping. It's escaping.
It's flying up through the window.
It's gone. It's gone. My pterodactyl is gone.
Here we are, ladies and gents. A lot of water tea on the earth.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, here's to all of us who journeyed to the lost world and came back alive.
I don't want to know which was worse. The pack of ape men or Illingsworth.
You're assuming there's a difference.
Malone, how many times up on the Amazon did you long for a nice spot of tea?
Oh, several.
Yes. Well, now that we're safely back, there's something I want to share with you. Look at the contents of this box.
Oh, they're beautiful. What are they?
Diamonds, emeralds, and rubies.
Great Scott! Where did you get them?
When I went back for the pterodactyl, I spied these stones in the mud. A treasure worth 200,000 pounds. That's 50,000 apiece.
Why, I could finance a private museum.
I could devote myself to research.
And I could write a great novel. What about you, Roxton?
Me? Nothing quite so grand. I just thought I'd have another go at the old plateau.
Why, that's a wonderful idea. Count me in. Well, that is, if a certain party accompanies me.
Mr. Malone, I thought you'd never ask.
What's a capital idea? Capital. By Jove, we're going back. Allow me to propose a toast. To the lost world. And our next great adventure.
To the lost world!
Extra! Extra! Strange bird flies over the English Channel. Scientists identify it as a big storm. Extra! Extra! Read all